Hey everyone, welcome to another YouTube live stream. Um, I'm really apologizing again for starting 40 minutes late over the time. Usually I'm really good for timekeeping and I don't like it when people don't show up on time as well. So I can only apologize and uh, yeah, just couldn't really be helped really. It was of a friend today and a lot of important things had to get done, but I believe it will make the live stream better. So apologies if you've lost a bit of time. What I can do is give you some more value for the time that you've lost. So my apologies, my mistake. And this is another live stream actually where I'm very I feel really grateful to be doing it. I'm very excited, but emotionally and mentally I'm quite tired because I've been doing a lot of physical exercises, which is a good thing. So it's a good time, but I'm going to push myself and I want to do it anyway. So I've been really wanting to talk about this for a long time. I've been sort of trying to find the right time to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it in a positive way, so I could really help a lot of people that are going through what I went through. So I know what it's like firsthand if you're going through a very bad depression. And I'm not talking about someone who's had one bad day or someone who's sulking or feeling sorry for themselves or being ungrateful or just basically being unintelligent. I'm talking to an audience of people that really don't want to. They don't want to be depressed. They don't want to be unhappy. They don't want to be constantly suffering with anxiety, and they don't want to feel like life isn't worth living. And start feeling like they'd rather commit suicide and have to live with the pain of being depressed. So, as someone who's personally suffered with depression all my life, on and off in periods. So, of course, it hasn't been continuous. I've had periods in my life of complete, just everything, happiness, complete happiness, joy, amazing life. But of course, it hasn't been like that for me all the time. I've had long periods of just darkness, depression, sadness, pain, just despair, just dreading the next day, not wanting the next day to come, not wanting to get out of bed, and just not feeling like being around other people. And I know I'm not right when I feel like that, and I know that other people are not. And also, this ties in, of course, with what got my whole YouTube channel and message successful, and it took off all around the world. All this ties into the relationships that men have with women and the confidence they have and how they feel about themselves with regards to being able to speak to women and attract women and feel secure in yourself. Depression is something that can destroy that. But in this video, with this live stream story, the great thing about what I'm talking about depression from a very strong standpoint. I'm giving you solutions that I've been using myself that are really helping to calm the depression down, get out of it. Because I think Tyson Fury said something interesting, and I don't know what you guys are going to think about that. I'd be interested to know because everyone's relationship with depression might be kind of different, but to a certain level, it's all the same. He said you can never fully get rid of depression and mental illness and anxiety, but you can definitely massively minimize it and live a happy, normal social life and to be successful. And I would agree with him on that in my experience, and I'm willing to be wrong. So I'm definitely not claiming to have a complete 100% cure to depression because I haven't got one, and I wish I did. I'd have it myself, but I've definitely got the best possible solution that I can come up with now that is really life changing to me, and it definitely stopped me from committing suicide in my early 20s when I was going through a terrible time, and it's got me success in every area at some stage, with women, financially, in business, with coaching people, with just feeling good, with just being able to live a normal life, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of the things, and some of the things I'm sharing you might already know, but these are life changes. So let me just share this live stream, see how many people we get on today. That would be nice. So let's share it on Twitter. or pop this over to Facebook. So that's done. I've shared that. Hey guys, how you doing? So the title of this live stream and this seminar, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. Is it's basically called Facing Your Depression, and this is something that I realized in my own life. And facing your depression is, for me, is a metaphor for not being a victim, but still having compassion for yourself and anyone else that's going through it. Obviously being compassionate, because it's not nice when someone is manically depressed. I've been there. Thank God I'm not there anymore. I'm currently, as things stand, in the best place I've been in my life for a long time. But I'm certainly not going to claim, listen, I have bad days too. And I'm probably going to have bad days for the rest of my life. I've come to terms with that. But there's a lot of good, which is important. Facing your depression is a metaphor for facing fear, changing your life, finding your potential. Now, I've found there's a lot of contradiction in what I'm going to say, but it's the truth in my experience. I'm at the moment I'm doing live streams around this time. I'm not going to say every day, because some days will be busy, but sort of every other day. It could be every day, depends on what I'm doing and how I feel. But for now, it is. So I found that facing depression is absolutely life changing, and I'm going to go. I'm trying to just be straight as possible, but I can't just talk about these things boom boom boom, because then people, they won't be moved and inspired. So if I just said to you guys, look, if you're depressed, you've got to go out and face every fear you have in your life, and your life will change. That's the truth. But most people won't be inspired from that. It isn't. There's not enough detail in that. There's not enough counselling and encouragement, which is what my coaching is about, teaching message. So I'm going to talk about various things. As you can see, this talk isn't planned, so it's not going to be perfectly polished. I don't want it to be. I'm just getting the truth out in every way, shape, or form I can get. So I'll quickly go into the symptoms of depression, because it's nice to kind of know what we're up against, and then we can know how we're going to defeat it. When I'm depressed, properly depressed, and we're not talking about when I've had a bad day or someone's upset me or I'm feeling sorry for myself. When I'm really in the thick of depression, nice to see you guys as well. One of the first signs that I know I'm really depressed is that I avoid people. I almost go into a mode of having social phobia. I don't want to be around people, even the people that are close to me, even my family who I love, close friends. I just can't deal with it. That's how I feel, right? Then I don't feel inspired to go out and speak to women. There's every part of me doesn't want that confrontation, excitement, fun. I don't want to go to the gym, and I don't want to do anything that involves some effort and a stress on my emotional system and body. I don't even want to talk to people. I don't want to open up. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to. Sometimes I don't even want to watch other people online, whether they're happy or not, because it adds to that pain. So I really just want to block the pain out and numb it. And for me, my negative patterns over the years have been, you know, there's periods of, feeling very sexually aroused in the wrong way and wanting to go and watch porn and a lot of porn and masturbate a lot to porn. That's some of the negative consequences if I allow myself to fall into places of, low self-esteem. In the old days, there was tendencies, and I did it, not so much now, thank God, to start visiting prostitutes and paying them to get, like some release, but not wanting to sort of look at them or speak. It's so antisocial and scared. Another one is a propensity to keep thinking about negative things that have happened to me in the past that I'm not happy about, I'm not proud about. So there's a propensity to constantly be worrying and worrying, literally worrying myself sick, worrying myself into illness and more depression. And then I start getting a pattern of thoughts, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. I've done bad things. I'm ashamed. I failed at life. Even all my successes have been a fluke. I go into a very dark, nihilistic, insecure, really vulnerable. And then for me, it's like I don't even want to trust anyone. I don't even want to put trust in anyone, because I just don't want the hassle of a good relate of anything. So it's almost like what happens to me is I don't want to. I lose the will to live, but I don't want to die at the same time. I don't want to kill myself. I'm still afraid of death, but I'm petrified of life. Life is frightening. The reality, waking up, paying bills, seeing family, putting on clothes, going out in public. The normal mundane things that are supposed to be normal in people's lives become so difficult and heavy. It feels stressful. I don't want to leave the house. Noises, sounds. So these are all the sort of negative consequences of being depressed. Another one is that things are never going to get better. So and then a lot of my issues will come up. Issues that I've dealt with that have long been overcome. They'll resurface again. A lot of fears about money, fears about survival, about not having enough money to pay bills, being evicted, being homeless. A lot of relationship fears will come up for me about never finding a girlfriend, never being in love, always being alone, and never really having good relationships with friends that I can trust and love and have a nice time. So it's very, very, it gets really, really dark for me, and it's like, why am I here? We dealt with this a long time ago. All these things are not true. There's an abundance of money to make out there, especially if you've got a good heart, which I have. There's so many great people. There's loads of friendships waiting. They're right next to me. There are people that care. There is life is there to be lived. Training's exciting. So when I look on the flip side, it's like I've got to go into a very positive place in myself, which has always been there, but it requires effort. I've got to mentally switch into wanting to be a positive, happy person. I have to get my courage back. I have to literally find out who I am again. Because when I'm in the full heat of depression, it's because I've lost value of who I am. I don't believe in myself anymore, and I don't believe in anyone. Or I might believe in some people, the people that I look up to. Yeah, I believe in them, but I don't believe in myself. So I see myself as pretty worthless in these places of depression. But here's where it gets exciting. And this is a big if for me and for people, if I take action in my life and if I do the things that I know I should do, and if I do the things that I know are difficult initially, I literally, in a heartbeat, lift myself out of depression, and I literally feel like the most confident man on the earth. I feel so positive about life. I really do. It's like there's an abundant amount of money. There's so many nice people. People are great. London's beautiful. I love my family even more. I like myself. I respect myself. I'm proud of who I am. I have less judgments towards other people. It's like my whole worldview changes. It almost is like a schizophrenia in a positive sense. It's a different mind, different person. I feel different. My social anxiety is completely, almost eradicated. I don't have these massive feelings of anxiety and paranoia around people and constant worry that I'm being judged and they're thinking this about me, and they can see the deep insecurities that I have that are going on, and they know about my mistakes I've made. They just get cancelled out. I feel aligned. I feel really, really positive and free, and my voice is different. I speak different. I'm judging myself objectively, but I look better looking. My eyes are clearer. There's more love and light in my eyes. My facial expressions, my body language changes. But that's only if I do the work, and I have to abstain from my addictions. I can't be watching porn. I certainly, obviously, can't be visiting escorts. I can't really be indulging in any. Of course, I'll pick out now and then. Because I like my chocolates. I like a bit of junk food. That won't really affect me. But I'm not going into these addictions, and I'm not, I'm just not really engaging in really negative conversations with people, even with myself. And then when I'm in this place, I'm not selfish in the fact that I'm not thinking about me. I'm actually thinking about, I want to add value to people. I want to help. I want to teach people. I want to coach. I want to share information with guys. I want to get them good results. It makes me feel good to do that. But if I'm depressed, it's like I don't want to help anyone. A part of you hates people when you feel like that because you're in so much pain. You hate yourself. So it's hard to love people when you hate yourself, and then you hate that you hate yourself. And then you feel ashamed that you feel that way about a certain aspect. If you feel that way towards people, you feel deep. I feel deeply ashamed because I wasn't brought up like that. I wasn't brought up to hate people. We were brought up with good manners, caring person. But within all those things, those feelings surface, and it's not nice carrying these feelings because you feel ashamed and it hurts. So it's a very, very sensitive, temperamental place. And then I start getting deep and I can get really heavy into stuff like, what's the meaning of life? Does God exist? What's the point of succeeding when we're going to die? That's a lot of the times that's not healthy for me. If I start thinking like that, that means I'm in a dark place. There's nothing with being curious and I've got no problem with people saying, we're all going to die eventually, because that's true. We are all going to die, and that can motivate people. But when it's in a negative way, it doesn't feel right. Even using God in a negative context where the energy and enthusiasm is not right behind it. But when it's a good relationship with God, then it's like everything's possible. So for me, and I'm going to say I can't speak for everyone, and I'm not guaranteeing to have 100% proof method, but this has changed my life. This has really changed my life, and every time I follow this, and this really does feel God inspired, because I do believe in God, and I've always had a faith in God. Sometimes I lose the faith, but it's always been there. When I follow that feeling of honesty and trust, my life always works out, and I always seem to add value to people, which is what I want to do. I want to be happy. I want to love myself. I want to live a great life, and I want to add value to people's lives. I want to change people's lives and make an impact on them. I don't want to. I spent too many years of my life being a negative person, making people's lives hell, making my own life hell. And I've had all those things: panic attacks in the morning. I have all these symptoms. If I'm really depressed, I can't sleep at night. I'm laying in bed full of fear and anxiety. So my thoughts on antidepressants are: you should take them if you are really bad, and if a doctor recommends, I think it's the right thing to do. So I don't have a problem with medication. I used to, but I think it's like anything. Some people need it, and I've used it myself, and it's helped me. I went through a bad stage, but I would recommend, or you have to, even if you're on medication, you still want to do the things I'm going to tell you. So facing your depression is about you going, this is the truth, and someone might be confused because they associate depression as all negative. It's not all negative. It's not black and white. Your potential is in your depression. I promise you. And I know this is going quite deep. Some people might not get it. The money that you want to make, if you're sick and tired of being broke, not having money, the money is in your depression. The friendships that you want to have, or the sort of people, or what you envision, or what you fantasize on, that's in your depression. The girl you want to meet, that girl that you want to fall in love with all day, or the few girls who want to date several women, it's your choice. It's in your depression. The best creative work you've ever done is in your depression. The film script you want to write, the dance that you want to do, the song that you want to sing, the public talk that you want to give. It's all in that depression. But it takes tremendous courage to dig it out. And I always feel quite uncomfortable, but also proud of myself when I say, there's a lot of things about myself I don't like, and I've been battling all my life with them. I've got a lot of issues, clearly, but I do admire my courage. I am so brave, and I've always said my father made me like that from a young age. So my courage and my bravery allows me to go to those deep places of darkness, but come out the other side and find love and confidence and happiness. And that's how I succeeded with women, with the business, with the teaching, being alive now, battling mental health, getting through it. And I can honestly say I'm a person who's come out the other side. I suffered bad mental health. I put my hands up, and you have to speak out against it, but you have to do the work. And the work is taking practical action. I'm going to explain what that is. I'm going to explain why you do it and the positive effects. Okay, so depression says no, but confidence potential says yes. So depression will say, don't meet your friend for coffee because you're not going to feel good. That's a lie. You've got to go and meet your friend when you've got depression, because going to meet a good friend, having someone to talk to, and will make you feel better. It will totally make you feel better. Depression will say, don't go to the gym. You're overweight, you've got a big belly, or you're not fit, or you used to be fit, or the gym's too expensive, or you haven't got the time. You've got to go to the gym. When you go to the gym and you work out, of course, it's a struggle. You've got to push. It's a grind. It's heavy. You feel a million times better after. So I'm talking about philosophy that I know that works, not a religion. It's just, and it is a practical movement. I know for most men, they need to be doing practical things to calm the mind down. When I do these live streams and teach and help, it focuses my mind. It stops me worrying. It stops my anxiety. It makes me present, as Eckhart Tolle would speak. I've fully surrendered now into training. I do swimming regularly. Swimming improves mental health. It's hard to feel depressed after you've gone for a swim. If you do it properly, and you don't have to be an athlete swimmer. I'm not a great swimmer, but I'm improving. You do lengths, you do swim, you get out all of that negative energy. You come out after the swim, you feel aligned, you have a shower, put your clothes on, you get some food. You feel fantastic. And it carries into the next day. You sleep better. So it's a relationship that you have to build. Depression tries to steal your relationship. It wants to keep you down and out and unfit in every way. So when you start going to the gym and training, and then you start seeing results, you start seeing that you're losing weight or you're gaining muscle, and you can breathe better. And let's forget about the physical benefits of muscles and six packs and traps and arms and lats. Let's just completely put that to one side. You feel not depressed after. You feel good because you're facing, and you connect your potential, like I said. Then you start feeling better around people. Then there's less social anxiety, intimidation. You want to be around people. You feel you have value, and of course, what you believe is what you achieve. So when you start socializing around people, you feel good because you feel good in yourself. You do not need other people to give you all of your love and self-esteem. You can give that to yourself. They can get, and you give it to them. So your psychological value goes up when you start doing practical things. It's very important that you're practical, because a lot of people do therapy, and I've always been a person who advocates therapy. Talking your issues out can be life-changing, but there's a lot of people that are hiding that and staying there, and I've had it with clients in the past. And I'm not selling in this video. That's not my aim in this. I'm just making a point. They've come to me and said, I've been going to a therapist for 2 years, but their issues haven't changed. They haven't faced their fears, and then they do one session with me, or maybe 6 sessions with me, and they've gone and faced all their fears and achieved their dreams. And I'm not saying the therapist is bad. It's just that we need more aspects than just talking therapy. I do talking therapy as well, and it can change your life. But men need activities. It makes sense for people like ourselves who are sensitive, creative, and we are prone to get depressed, suicidal thoughts, mental health problems. We need activities like a kid, and it doesn't change as an adult. We can't get all proud and egotistical and go, well, I'm 35 now, I'm 45. I don't go to the gym anymore. I don't do boxing. I don't let myself go because that's what kids do. No, it's not. That's when adults are acting like kids. So you've got to get some gym in your life. And the great thing about fitness is you can do whatever one suits you. I love boxing, man. I love boxing from my heart. I literally can cry when I think about how much I love watching boxing. I love the training, and now I do the boxing. I'm not trying to be a boxer. I did boxing when I was younger, but the training, boxing training, the discipline, hitting the heavy bag, skipping, shadow boxing, doing the pads, the groundwork. It's the best lifestyle. It connects you, and it's hard to feel depressed when you come out of a boxing session. So you've got boxing as a therapeutic, practical therapeutic outlet that will get you out of depression. If I took a really depressed person with me for 5 hours, just gave me half the day, I took him down the boxing gym, I made him do an hour and a half boxing session, we showered up, we grabbed some food after, and I took him out and we done some approaching with women, he would feel so good that day, even if he's got so much stuff going on in his life. So sometimes we've got to feel good for today. That's what I'm learning about depression. We can't focus on next week, next month. That's too far ahead for the depressed people. And then we start saying, as we get out of it, we can start being more powerful and say, actually, I'm the person who doesn't have depression. If we want to get really deep and spiritual, because I like Eckhart Tolle teaching, I like my own teaching. Sometimes, and I've done it myself, I put my hand up, I'm definitely guilty of it, because we're only human, we're not perfect. We can escape by saying that our identity is depression. So I'm also being careful of not encouraging people to be victims, to hide in depression, to seek sympathy. But I'm also trying to make people a bit more compassionate for people that really are struggling. Because when I was in the heat of my depression, I was in a poor place. I was unstable mentally. It was vulnerable. I needed help. So for that reason, I don't want to run the risk of sounding like a person who hasn't got no compassion. I've got massive compassion, but I also don't want to be a pushover. I don't want to be that school teacher that is too nice with the kids and they all abuse him and take the piss out of him and don't respect him. But I don't want to be that teacher that is narcissistic and nasty and the kids hate him. I want to get in the middle, a balance, boundaries, strength, love and care and stuff. So I really do care about the guys that go through this because I've been through it now, and it's took me into places where it's been hell. But the positive side is it's brought me into the best places of my life. Before I set my business up, I was suicidal, depressed. I was really bad, and when I found my passion and my purpose to help men with their confidence of women, my whole life changed. I that's why I've done so well, because I wasn't depressed anymore. And I'm telling you guys, when you're not depressed, miracles show up. The woman, you'll meet her. Where would I recommend on the first date? I would recommend keeping it simple, but always go to a place where you feel comfortable. It's very important, because if you go on a date with a girl where you're not comfortable, she's going to feel uncomfortable. So make sure you go to a place. I prefer going to more quiet places, hotel lobbies where there's a great service, a bit more expensive, but they're nicer, or just nice places that are reasonable priced, somewhere where you can sit and have a chat and connect. So it's and it's ongoing. It's a battle with depression. It's not like, oh, I went gym one day, I socialized, and now I can. You got to live your whole life. I have to live my whole life in almost in a sense in therapy. Like an alcoholic is an alcoholic for life. So we don't want to put an identity on it, but we want to be honest about it. And what's inspiring about it. I feel really good talking about it because I had a lot of fears for many years to talk about it, because I had a lot of shame, and it's quite hard for people like me to admit it because we've got a following on the world. We have people see me as a they see me as a successful person, and it's sometimes difficult for my ego to show weakness and say, despite being this confident guy that everyone sees on the internet, which I am, I have my struggles as well, and I have a personal battle with this depression. But the greatest minds in history suffered with mental illness and depression, and I know that. So it is inspiring to know that you don't have to feel ashamed, but what I'm trying to say to people is you have to take responsibility, though. Get the help you need. If you need therapy, get that. I'm encouraging people to get help. You have to get help. If you're really bad, you need support, family, you need to take medication if you need to. If you don't need to take medication, don't. But you've got to play your part as well. And then I find, that release of going and doing swimming, that's the equivalent of a therapy session. And, what other things are there? Just things like personal hygiene. Medication definitely worked for me. It definitely worked, because there was a period where I was so ill that I couldn't do without it. I needed professional help, and it worked. I did therapy, I did a bit of counselling, I did medication, and then I did my own therapy, which is what I'm teaching now. And I've got myself into this good, place mentally. Hey Benny, how you doing, mate? So you've got to face this depression and break it down. I'm talking to you. Think of it like a goal. Now, if you set goals when you're depressed, right, yeah. I know Churchill had it. I didn't know Gandhi had it, and So yeah, I mean, my message now, when I first started on YouTube, and it was my message was to help men overcome their fears with women. Now, I didn't realize that I have a I have a bigger purpose now, and it's the right thing to do. And I am here as someone who is going to speak out and live it um, and help a lot of other men through the demonstration of my life and values to get out of depression and start living a good life, because there's a great life waiting for every single depressed person on the other side. But you've got to dig deep into it. And depression is an inner thing and it affects out. So can you hear that there is a positive side? And for me, it can be, actually, I've got to be honest about this, and this is difficult. Every time I've had depression, it's been a blessing in disguise. It's always been a sign that I need to make changes in my life. I need to look at aspects of myself. Maybe I'm not being honest enough. I'm not being treating people right. Sometimes I'm not, people are not treating me right, and I'm not facing my potential, the fear of my potential. And a lot of our depression is because deep down as men, we know we can't lie to ourselves. We can lie to other people. We are not going out and doing great things that we know we should be doing. We're not starting that business that we know that we've been dreaming about since a young boy, because we are afraid of our potential. We're not so much of afraid of failing. We are petrified of being put in the same category as the great people, as the people, all of the famous people throughout all the different areas of sports, of entertainment, of business, writers, poets, all these different areas, because we've got a part of us that we think we're not good enough to be like them. But what I realized, that's not true. That we live on the same planet as they do. We've got the same access to our potential as they do, but we have to connect to it and we have to be it and live it. We have to face our fears a lot. I'll say that again. We have to face our fears as men a lot to come out of depression and to connect to who we are, and not have this feeling that I'm not good enough, and I'm depressed. And then we start telling ourselves, I'm not depressed. I'm not depressed. I'm going through some challenges. So we can change the language, but I'll leave that. That doesn't feel as important for now. What's important is we go, let me just explain this a good psychology that I use. If you get really scared of something and you go, please don't, I don't want the fear, I'm afraid of it, I don't want it, please go away, please go away. Fear will bully you and grow massive, and it will chase you like a monster, when you're a kid. It's imaginary, but it will bully you in your life, it will become real. If you say, I'm frightened, I'm terrified, I'm intimidated by you, but I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of, I'm not having it. I'm not having you bully me. Let's face whatever you threaten me with. Let's go. Let's do it. As Shannon Briggs says, I like I see why I unconsciously didn't even know I was going to talk about him. Why has he come to mind? Let's go, champ. Because he's someone who suffered depression and mental illness and suicidal and got himself out of that. And he's a kind man. That's what I'm going to say. And I like him. So let's go, champ. That was his way of getting out. My way is let's go. I'm not, no, sorry, not let's go. I'm not having it. That's my own little mantra. So you might find a personal mantra that you use to lift yourself out of fearful, depressed places. And, yeah, Tyson Fury is an inspiration for all of us, me as well. So the empowerment is saying, let's bring it on. Let's bring it on. You want to frighten me? You're going to blackmail me? Because depression will try and blackmail you. It says, if you admit you're depressed, everyone's going to reject you. Well, if everyone's going to reject me, let's face it, let's see. And it never happens. Never in history, usually, unless you do something really, really out of order. In most cases, people are not going to reject you because you're suffering with depression. In terms of books, I don't have any books to recommend in this talk right now. I recommend you take action. Every time you read the books, every time you read books, you delay your own success, because those books are just going to tell you what I'm telling you. They're going to tell you what you know you need to do. So it's not enough to say to me, I know I'm depressed, John, I know I should go gym. That's not enough. You need to do it. Or I know I should get out more and socialize more. You have to do it at some point. And yes, you're right, Les Boss. I'm a sensitive guy. I'm caring, I'm compassionate, I'm forgiving. But I've got to be honest as well, there's a part of me, and it's probably my favorite part, that is very stoic. There's no bullshit. I'm not being manipulated by people. I'm not playing low level games. I'm not being a coward. I'm not thinking small. I'm not playing small. I'm not being bullied by other people's fears or my own fears. And we're kicking ass. We're kicking ass. We are right in the fight. We're fighting it. We're not covering up like that. We're not saying no depression. Please don't bully me today. I'll give you what you want. I'll watch porn. Please fear. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's have it. Let's have it. Let's go, champ. Let's go. I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die. I'm not having this no more. I'm not being depressed anymore. I'm not being labelled. I'm not mentally ill. I'm not a nobody. I'm not worthless. I've got greatness in me. I've got the same value as all the top successful celebrities. I know that in my own heart. From God. But from the say, how could I not be? I have to see it in myself. I have to connect to it and then be it and then create it. So to see it in yourself, recognize it, be it, connect and create it, you do it. And that's what got me my success. Depression made me successful. It did. If I didn't suffer with depression when I was younger, and this, I'm not saying this is bad, but it's not great. I would be living a mediocre life. I'd be in a normal job that I don't really like. It'd be comfortable, probably earning a decent living. I'd be in a relationship with a woman where I'd probably be semi-happy. And I wouldn't have any friends around me that challenge my integrity or my ego and help me to grow as a better person. I wouldn't have people like that around me. But for the reason of faith depression, I have all that around me. Every single person around me is challenging in a good way. They challenge me to be better because they're really good people. They're really great people, good hearts, and they are phenomenal, talented people. And the clients that I work with, all of you guys, you challenge me. You make me look at myself. You make me tell the truth, which I love. So it comes down to truth, love, truth, honesty, connection. And sometimes when you're very depressed, it's you telling yourself something's not right in your life. It's not always down to genetics. It could be that, but a lot of the times it's down to inaction. We get depressed as men because we suppressing the truth in us. And it could be one of many things. It might even be you're not being kind enough to your own friends. That could give you massive depression because unconsciously that makes you feel worthless. So you start being more kinder, and then you start thinking, oh, actually, I feel better. So depression is not all about me. It's about, I get out of it by serving other people. Because if you think that your problems are so big, then look at the next man's problems, and you'll realize that your problems are not as big as you thought they were. So there's an element of charity, but like I said before, we're not doing a charity to film it on camera and to make people think we're so good. We do it in private. We do the private charity, and we see the effects of that. So I'm looking at various aspects, and of course, you know where I'm going to come to. It's raining. Sorry. You know, the women aspect is very important because you know it's having the discipline to go out and be able to speak to women when you're depressed. I know that doesn't sound like great advice, but believe me, it's life changing. It's having the discipline when you feel depressed and at your lowest and you don't feel you've got any value to challenge that voice and work with those emotions and go out, be a decent person, be honest, treat women with respect, be a man and speak to them. And then you'll meet someone great and it will lift you out of depression. It will inspire you. So we're not being a victim here, guys. We're not saying we're not expecting women to be our mother and take our pain away. We're being men. We're taking responsibility. We're getting extra help. But we're not going to stop speaking to them because we're depressed. Because when you meet a great woman, I'll tell you something in my life, it's been the happiest man alive, and she's happy. So obviously depression is about relationships. You need to have relationships with other people. And sometimes the depression can really show you who your friends are. You might find out that you've got fake people around you and that you need to get rid of them, and you need to stop being fake, and then you'll change and you'll attract really genuine people. So depression is a great opportunity to grow and change. And I think a lot of times people lie to themselves like that. They say, I'm not going to go and do a course because right now I'm depressed. Well, now's the best time to do the course. Because if you don't do the course, you're going to get more depressed. Do the course now, and then you won't be depressed after. So it's about doing practical things, you know. yeah, as we know, and if you've got someone around you that you care about who's going through depression, help them out. I've helped a lot of people, and it's, it's not even like, oh, it feels great to help someone, and it's not an ego boost. It is the right thing to do. And there's times when, I believe in the balance. Sometimes people are in a state where you can't help them. You can help them by being straight, saying, I'm not able to help at this moment. You're too, and then they need to go and get professional help. So you're not rejecting them or being unkind, but you're not able to help them in their current place. And obviously, someone who doesn't want the help can't force it on them. I wouldn't do that. But the practical things make a huge difference. Fashion, you know, just all these little things, tidying your flat when you wake up. That's something that heats me going. I always make sure, I clean my bed, take rubbish out. I'm always showering. I've got clean socks and pants on. All these little things impact on how you feel. So that's really important. I'm just reading through your comments. Yeah, and it is sad. And we know, of course, we've seen it. We've seen our loved ones, like we've seen our family in depression. We've seen our friends. So everyone goes through it at some point. But I'm someone who now has been through it so much, come out the other side. I've built up my life, had a great life, had everything a man could want, and then got depressed, fell apart, broke down, lost it all. Made mistakes. Now I'm come back out of it, and I've got much more. I've got a lot more knowledge on it now, and I don't want depression to win because I know how it feels enough. So on a collective level, it's not even about me feeling good for doing this. It's just the right thing to do, and I'll still do it even if I don't feel good about it. Even if I'm like, oh, it's a lot of hassle. I don't want to put myself out. It has to be done. Hopefully the connection's fine. It looks all right on my thing. So I've shared through this video all the elements. Going to the gym, that's great. Speaking to women, approaching women, improve your dating life, meeting up with friends, abstaining from, if you can, I'm not preaching on you guys, but abstaining from your addictions and porn addictions, any addiction that's negative. And the more you take action and do things that make you feel good, the more you'll be inspired to come out of it. And there's a lot of things out there like showers, meditation. I do meditation as well, by the way. I get a coffee, I go for a walk around the parks, and I sit down. Another thing as well is creative work. Creative is so important, and I've heard, I think this is true apparently, someone said this, and it's very true, so you guys can correct me on it, that the best works in history, like some of the best writers and poets, I'm not saying every time, but a lot of the time, came from people that are in their lowest moments of their life. They were very depressed people, but they were very talented, and I can testify to that and go, that's true. I feel that my best work is yet to come because of the depression that I've suffered and the suffering that I witness with other people around me. It's not just about me. And that energy, that fuel, it comes. The creative side is important. And there's a lot of different aspects in what you can be creative, like I said. So let me explain the relationship with lifestyle changes, which is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go back to basics. Most guys get in contact with me. I get an email from them. I get a long email. I get a Facebook message. I get messages on my Instagram. I get messages on Facebook, on YouTube. And it goes, Johnny, I'm really struggling. I can't talk to women. I've got bad anxiety. I'm afraid of getting rejected. I think I'm ugly. They're in this they're depressed, right? Clearly by the message. Now, to change feeling like that, there's a couple of options. One is just to go, this is like more strict, and I teach this, is to go, right, despite all those things, you still got to go out face to face and speak to them and push yourself and go through the rejections, go through the social anxiety, get awkward, learn, grow, build confidence, and then get results. Or you could do it the more even powerful way, which I'm doing at the moment. Okay, what could make me feel better before I go out and speak to women? A gym session. And I don't mean one gym session, you do it once a year, that's not enough. regularly going. Now, I'm not going to say amount of time because guys want to be so specific. It's not about got to go gym 7 days a week, got to go 6, got to go 5. It depends on everyone. As long as you go regularly. If you went gym once a week regularly for months on end, you're going to get fitter. If you go twice a week regularly, 3 times, 4 times, just go regularly. When you go and do a swimming session or a weightlifting session, deadlift, squats, physical, bodybuilding, or I'll show you something here. Just an example of stuff. So boxing, yeah. I got my okay. So that's nearly fell off the chair. That's a lifestyle. That's symbol boxing. So get a pair of boxing gloves, right? That's one reality. That's one movement. Then you've got obviously a nice night vest to train in, and it's almost like a ritual for me. This is psychologically helps. I'm showing you guys some stuff today. And you get yourself, you don't have to spend a lot of money. A pair of shorts. These Adidas. It could be anything, right? A pair of nice shorts. Now, when I look at these shorts, I feel good. It symbolizes this is for the gym. I've got my shorts for the gym. The boxing gloves are for boxing. I have certain things that have a relationship with a positive relationship. So guess what? When you look at porn, what happens, guys? At first you get excited, and then you've got a very negative relationship because it's negative. It makes you feel like shit after. If you go and watch porn regularly and you wank off, then you tell yourself you're not good enough to meet a real woman in real time and a real sexual relationship. So the good associations, you go do a boxing session and you just feel on a different planet. You connect to your potential. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, you feel so good after. And then when you feel good, that point of reference says to you, I want to feel good all the time or more consistently. I don't want to feel depressed and bad. So that should inspire you to keep going, keep facing that depression and fear and growing and dissolving it, It's like breaking chains off. And then so because you feel good from the gym now, the next day you go out for a walk in the daytime, you see my videos and you start speaking to women. Your energy's better when you speak to them. You feel good about yourself before you approach them because they don't know it. You are doing an activity in your life that gives you a lot of love, pleasure, connection, all those things. As men, we need love, we need connection, we need satisfaction, we need discipline, we need self-respect to ourselves and to other people. If we ain't got these things in our life, we're going to feel awful. We're going to feel depressed. So going to the gym builds respect for yourself and other people, old, young. It builds discipline. It builds confidence. And then that confidence, it translates or it transfers. It translates in your social interactions. The way you hit the punch bag, the way you swim, the way you run, the way you sprint, that's how you talk to people. If you talk to people with terror and anxiety and panic and worry and anger and aggression and jealousy, then it ain't going to be great in the long run, is it, for you and for them? Or when you're trying to attract women and bring women into your life. So when you start training, you don't realize that ritual of movement, that boxing, hitting the pads and lifting weights, it's like a respect for yourself that you're gaining, and then that projects out. That's very important. Then you've got the creative side. Like, I love creating content. You don't have to be a business person, but there's so many different outlets. So when I create material and teach people, when I do seminar talks, when I do YouTube videos, when I do live streams, it's giving. You're giving. It feels good to give. When you give a lot, you expand. Your consciousness expands. You get your emotions out, and then you feel energized. And you're not losing because you're giving. The mind will trick you and think that if I give to someone, I'm getting less. I'm losing. You're giving and you're gaining. And this is all relationship, all energetic. So you've got a lot of good things going on in your life, and then you've got things like meditation, very important for depressed people. And don't have to be it doesn't have to be like this. You don't have to be like. It doesn't have to be like that. In the classics, it can do that. It can just be sitting down somewhere, just relaxing and being present with your mind, thoughts. all these areas make you feel good. Going to give you a sense. It's not just give you a sense of purpose. It gives you a purpose. Let's read the questions. When you've done a hard day is approaching and you've got nothing to show for it, the temptation to look at porn is very strong because you're feeling lonely and sorry for yourself. Any tips, Johnny? Yeah, I understand. It is a difficult one. What I would say is definitely, with no doubt, you need to take part in something else that gives you that love and connection and stops the loneliness. For me, it's gym, it's swimming, and it's boxing and weight training. And within that, it's also meeting up with my close friends and having very intimate connections and honest conversations about interesting things. So you need to find another outlet to connect. It sounds like at the moment your only outlet, you said the other day, yesterday, is approaching women. That's not necessarily bad, but it can be bad for you at this moment in time. So you need other things. You've already got a lot of energy like me. You're a deep thinker. You think a lot. You can get lonely easy when you're very creative and thinking that I can get lonely so easy if I don't put these things in place. It's another thing as well. Thanks for reminding me, those boss. Depression is a lonely place. It's very, very lonely. Yeah, meetup.com is good for, there's great groups on there. When you're in the thick of depression, it's really lonely. You do feel lonely. You feel lonely when you're with people, when you're by yourself. So it's about filling that void of activities, and building that connection. And remember, every practical exercise you do, yes, it's external, but it's internal. When I go and do boxing training, I'm externally hitting bags and training in the gym, but I'm working on myself internally. When I do live streams and teaching and talking, yes, I'm practically talking. It's internal. So kind of everything is inwardly and outwardly. It's really important. But this is what I'm saying to you guys isn't intellectual. This is experiential, spiritual, and emotional. So you've got to try for yourself and do these things I'm telling you to do and see the results that you get. Once you see it works, once you see the results, what you're getting, then you're not going to want to go back to being depressed and suppressed, and stuck in a rut. It's funny, So I've got a lot to say on this, and obviously, I know that I'm not going to get through all this in one live stream. I plan to tackle this over the next few months, even the next few years. Who knows? Because I never knew I was going to be called to do this. I never knew. I thought my purpose was just, teaching guys how to be confident with women. But later on, it has been revealed to me, not relieved. It's been a relief, yes, Freudian slip. It has become apparent to me that my message is deeper than that. It's better than that. It's more over. It's an overall getting guys' mental health good and building their confidence, and helping them with women is one aspect of that. But it's not just about that, which is why I'm talking about depression in a live stream. Yeah, and let me explain something. Activity will change your mindset. Sometimes we can't change our mindset when we're in the heat of depression. We haven't got the power to do that. It's just not possible. But when we go and relate with the world, it seems to change. And sometimes, a lot of times, other people can change our mindset. So I'm sure, definitely, for a lot of you, I don't mean this egocentrically or arrogantly, when you hear me speak and teach and counsel you and inspire you, it changes your mindset. I hit certain truths. I touch your heart. I hit your heart, make you go, "Oh, he's right. I can do that. I feel great about that." So people are great for that, and fully commit to it. Because if you don't fully commit to facing depression, it will win. It will beat you, because it is a very skilled, intelligent energy. Depression or fear, anxiety, depression, loneliness. They're all the same, kind of the same entity, different mask. So it's learning how to compete with it, fight it, and So if you see depression as a gift and you use the energy of depression to change transformation, it's the biggest blessing out there. But if you keep seeing it, and I've done this before, if you see it as I'm a victim, I'm down, I'm no good, it's never going to work out for me, it's not going to change, then things won't change. Then you're getting proof that it won't change. So it's all practical. It's a real spiritual shift in connection, but through a practical movement. Didn't realise how long I've been speaking there. It's gone almost an hour now, so we'll get some questions going. Hopefully everyone's understood what I've said. I don't get involved in these theories. I know nothing about red pills and that. Me personally, it doesn't feel right for me. It feels like it's not positive, and there's not enough honesty and truth in it. So I am not inspired by it. I don't feel gravitated to go towards it. And I've got no interest in it, to be honest. And that's another thing I think about combating depression. It's not just as well, it is important to do the right thing. It's also having, it's having the discipline to know what you don't want to do. And that's mostly addictions. Yeah, I love my films. Give Midnight Cowboy a watch. Dustin Hoffman and John Voight. Such a coincidence that you said Dustin Hoffman. I was going to share this with you guys earlier, but I didn't feel right about sharing it. But I'll share it. It was randomly today. I was very blessed. I was in a nice place in London, and the guy there, the manager, he's nice. Seems to like me. I was with a friend, and he showed us around and showed us all these famous celebrities that used to come to this place. Some are alive, some are dead. Muhammad Ali. There were pictures of Dustin Hoffman. I saw. There was David Bowie. There were Rihanna. All these actors, old writers. Oscar Wilde. Couldn't believe it. This Oscar Wilde used to go, and he's telling me right. And I've always loved the energy in the place. And it's funny that you've just mentioned Dustin Hoffman, because I couldn't remember his name, but I knew his face. I was telling my friend, he's in Rain Man. He's in that film. I watched a great film with my dad with Dustin Hoffman, which was called Marathon. Is it Marathon Man? That film is phenomenal, man. So it was inspiring being in this place today, because spiritually, I'll go deep for a bit. It was showing me that I'm blessed. I'm doing something right. I'm being rewarded. And this is not just about I'm being rewarded for me. This is not just selfish. This is I'm being rewarded so I can bless millions of men or thousands with my honesty and my truth and my experience of life. And I was in the place. I was in the same frequency. And this place, he told me, this is where they invented the Queensberry rules for boxing. This is where Winston Churchill congregated when he was in power. This place has been going since 1800s. And I'm in this historical place having coffee, and then the manager has showed me in not like a secret room, a room's like where all the celebrities, famous rich actors, and boxers, and boxing fights that take place. People like Muhammad Ali have been in there, and Winston Churchill, and I'm going that anything's possible. It must be, because how is this? I'm in the kind of place I'm in. I wasn't in this place before when I was depressed. Now I'm working on myself and helping people. So yeah, always in Papillon. That's one of my dad's favorite films, Steve McQueen. He loves that film. I've seen Papillon. Is that where he's in the prison, right? That's the prison film. Yeah, that's the film. So for a change, we are Fight Club is a brilliant film. And and as well, I want to make a point. I forgot to mention this. This is very important. When you're going through depression, and it could be different for everyone, and everyone's got different relationships with their family, but I've found spending time with family is really important. I spent a lot of time with my dad during the period of depression. We watched a lot of films together, and it bonds you closer, these experiences, and then you feel great after. And then all that energy, that it shows up when you speak to women. So all of the things I've said today, I know I haven't spoke as much about techniques and mindsets and what to say and how to attract women, but inadvertently, indirectly, I have gave you every single solution and advantage as a man. If you follow it with no excuses, you're going to be very attractive to women. At the moment, where I'm at now, doing video pranks doesn't feel right to me at this moment in time. I did it in the past and I enjoyed it. It was right then. But I probably will do it at some point again because I do love comedy. That's another important thing. So I really want to excite and inspire people, and I'm not being patronizing, who are suffering from depression, whether it's been for years and they've not, like, if I could get quite a lot of guys to come forward and talk about it, that would make me really happy. And then to actually follow the solution and get out of it, basically. So awesome, man. Yeah, no problem. I've just got your email now. I really enjoyed the conversation we had on Skype, so we'll set another one up as promised. I'll respond to your email later tonight or in the morning. So yeah, I can see it on my phone now. Great, thanks for that. Thanks for coming on the stream as well. Like I said in our first conversation, I have a quiet excitement for you, and I really believe that you're going to break through what we spoke about, which was private anyway. So when you're asking me what exercises do you recommend to break free of fear, yeah, you just have to do it as one. But look, what I'm trying to say to you guys is that just slow down a sec, be patient. Every single thing I've said today is going to help you to conquer your fears or anxieties or phobias with speaking to women. Now, I never realized this years ago until I had a conversation today with a friend and things came up. When I first started, and this is not conscious, it wasn't a strategy or a plan. I couldn't have planned it. I couldn't plan certain things. Now I can look back, realize things that I've done, and maybe create a plan, if that makes sense. When I first met my first mentor, he wasn't a paid mentor, and he wouldn't call himself a mentor, but he became a mentor to me with women. I was working out in a West London gym doing weightlifting, and I met him down the gym whilst weightlifting. I saw him, how good he was speaking to women. I saw the talent, I saw the confidence, and then he got speaking to me. He liked me as a friend, I liked him, and then we became friends. And then he mentored me and taught me how to speak to women and be myself, which I did. But at that period, was I living good in my life when I look back compared to, yeah, I was. Back then. This was just when I stopped sleeping with escorts and paying them. I cleaned up. I quit taking drugs, cleaned up, and I was just kind of breaking through. Like, I stopped getting into fights with people and being aggressive and violent. So I had a positive foundation with my first mentor. We had friendship, genuine friendship, not wingmanship. I went to his house. He came to my nan's house. I made him food. He made me food. We stayed together. We had friends. We went out. We approached. But we had gym as well. I had a good life, and that affected me in a positive way. So I guess what I'm saying is, guys, and I'm telling myself, for depressed people, we've got to make our life amazing, so it's worth living. So we're waking up each day excited, and we've got a purpose and things like that. So I'm putting all the tools together, and guess what? I'm going to make a video at some point, and it's going to demonstrate all these things. Because I know when I demonstrate it and I put it out on YouTube, people see it. They immediately, but they can't. Then they have no excuses, and they can't say, "Well, I haven't seen this guy do it. He's talking about all this stuff, but can he really do it?" When I show you, when I demonstrate how I tackle depression, then you're going to be inspired to do it, because I'll be filming maybe I'll have a clip of me for a minute working out in the gym. You'll see that it's not fake. It's how I live. There'll be clips of me speaking to them in public or teaching, doing public speaking, meeting up with friends. I can't obviously, I want to film everything in my life, but there'll be enough evidence to go, that's inspired me. I know he's doing that, he's doing that. And that would be like a good sort of inspirational video. It's I promise you guys, because I didn't notice myself, there's happiness for you, trust me. And there's light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a lot of things to be excited about. And there's a lot of amazing people that you're going to meet on this, whatever we call it, path or journey or our life. It's not what depression says, it lies, don't believe it. But it builds confidence as well, like Facing Fears. Would I be interested in you having interviews with people in your life that have influenced you? I'd personally love to do it, but I've got to be honest, I don't know how they'd feel. They might not want to do it. So I'd like to do it, and I'd like to thank them. I'm thankful anyway. But I think a lot of the people, and I won't mention names, they've just not been comfortable, like myself, to put themselves out on social media. And I can understand that, because a lot of the people, kind of from how I originally grew up, they're quite private people, which I respect. I was myself, but I couldn't. It's not my life purpose is different. I'm meant to put myself out, even though naturally I like to think I'm a private and shy person, but I can't be that person. I have to be me to help other people and find my purpose and meaning. So, but I've started an interview series that I really enjoyed. I interviewed my friend Tom Wade. I interviewed Paul Janker, Richard Laruna, a really good guy, Claude Diamond, a few other people. Johnny B, can you do it? Yes. So I didn't get that. You seen my site or whatever? But yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's weird, isn't it? Because I can't speak for everyone, but battling depression in a positive way can give you a great purpose and meaning in your life. Then you're like, oh, I know I'm alive now. So I'm basically saying for people that are going through depression and mental health problems, happiness awaits you, even though it doesn't feel like that when you're going through it. I've done a lot of studying like you guys are. You guys are intelligent, you're smart people. And the more I study, the more I realize how many of these successful, talented people have real challenges with mental health and depression and ongoing challenges. Like I said, I'm not coming here claiming to be the perfect finished article. I'm probably going to be in a battle for the rest of my life with mental health and depression and anxiety. But it's, like I read in one of Paulo Coelho's book, I'm fighting the good fight. I'm agreeing because it's worth it. But then who's to say maybe I will fully get rid of it in my life, but that hasn't been the case since my 35 years of living. But I have massively reduced it and been very happy, and that's where I've just got myself back to in these coming weeks. And I'm very grateful as well, because I've had a lot of support from all of you lot, all you guys and stuff, saying, hey, it's nice, just a little compliments. You look well, Johnny, in the video. You look happy. We're happy to see you well again. That means a lot. That's only small, but it means a lot. More than it does saying, oh, you're so amazing and meeting women and all that. I'm not that bothered about that. That feels a bit more egocentric. This is like, it's nice when people personally are happy to see that you're healthy and well. But yeah, I find your there's a lot of things you can do, like I said in this video, and I know, like, I just wanted to put all the truth out. So, and even if someone sees it and just does one thing and says, I watched your video, Johnny, and then I went and I went to did boxing training, and then I met a girl on the street, or I improved my confidence. So when we get down to the basics, you guys want to gain more confidence. Confidence is gained through facing fear. It's through the practice of facing fear, through training, discipline, and do whatever you can to get inspired. If you still struggle Watch some Bruce Lee. Watching Bruce Lee for me growing up gave me massive motivation. He made me take so much action. You're already watching my stuff. That's obviously very good. I'm happy for that, and I can inspire you a lot. But you know, don't just rely on me as well, because there are a lot of other teachers out there that are very good, and there's people that are better than me in certain areas, and I might be more skilled than them. So get the help because it's out there, and I got a lot of help, and I'm grateful because I'm only going to say it once because I'll give people space. But Tyson Fury played a part in me getting my life back on track and getting out of depression. I mean, how can you not be inspired? And there's other people as well. They might not be as high profile, but just seeing a video or something they said, or them just being honest about their struggle, that helped me a lot. Who else is there? Of course, friends. I've got friends. I'm not going to mention. Some people name they don't want the name mentioned, but they've helped me. Family have helped me. The people that follow me have helped me. Thank the big man upstairs, God. People like what's his name, Shannon Briggs. Let's go, champ. That whole mantra. It's refreshing. Sorry, I'm a bit confused by your question, TL. I'm older than you, a few years than you. Okay, I'm 35. 20 is attractive, but 30s and 40s have boyfriends and husbands. But that's a belief. That's nothing you need to be careful about. That depends. That depends. It's not everything. It's not indefinite. You know, I've seen proof of that. So let me know, guys. How many of you found this live stream helpful today? Like really helpful. How many of you didn't like it? If you didn't like it, that's fine. Say. I don't mind the honest feedback. Loved it, man. That's kind. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We're going to go for a few more minutes. I want to give anyone the chance to ask me a question who hasn't. So I'm going to answer it. It's nice to see that you're talking about personal development to being a better man in the whole context. Yeah, I feel the same way. My female friend is okay. No, of course, you common sense. You don't approach underage girls. You don't break the law, obviously. I think, oh, sorry, that cut out for a second. The internet. That's all right. You've got to expect it through the questions. No, I wouldn't recommend paying for escorts. 100% wouldn't recommend it. But I wouldn't judge any of you if you've done it. I'm not here to judge you for anything that you've done. I've done it in my past, and it wasn't good. It doesn't pay. It ain't going to get you out of depression. It's gonna ruin your mental health. It's going to cause bad luck, bad things. Stay away from it if you can. If you've done it, then forgive yourself. But I definitely don't recommend that. Any other questions? You're welcome. So yeah, I'm just processing today, everything we've spoken about, and yeah, it's getting more and more clearer. It's That's another thing actually. I'm learning a lot. You guys really want to check him out, Eckhart Tolle. His book's brilliant as well, but I think his YouTube videos are much better. I like hearing him and seeing him visually, but it might be different for some people who might want to read his book, Power of Now. His teaching is phenomenal, all about the mind, and that all leads back to depression. So the more practical things you do, the more activities you have, the more you're engaging and you have a focus of something. You haven't got time to worry about your problems. You haven't got time to be feeding depressed thoughts or feelings. It aligns you. It puts you in a nice place. Uh, to be honest, my channel is open. It's for women as well. Obviously, mainly I started off with a male audience, but we don't turn women away. If this can help you, you're welcome to join the stream. You're welcome to watch my videos and get any help from me. So you're very welcome. Women are very welcome to subscribe to my channel and follow my teachings. Just see a few videos and images where you walk in the street and say hi. This is really hard to do. Any other exercises you recommend? If that's difficult, I would probably recommend um, how often do I do these live videos? It depends. Sometimes I do them daily, but then other times I'll have a break. It depends on my schedule. It depends on how I feel. But probably at least average, I suppose, at least twice a week, and it's always around the evening time. So you're welcome to come and join the streams whenever you want. Check on my YouTube channel because I put the timer up. You'll see the day before on the day. So back to your question, if walking down the street and saying hello to women, that's too difficult, go into get a coffee, go into a coffee shop where it's more relaxed and speak to, a girl who's sitting down or in the queue or serving the coffee. So it's just more slower pace. And I think that's another thing about depression. You've got to be willing to come out of your comfort zone and try new things. Whilst you're depressed anyway, what's to lose? You're not feeling good, you feel hopeless. So try new activities, try and meet new people. And then what happened to me was I started stumbling across things that I didn't even know that I would enjoy and then that got me out of it. I think as well, like some comments today, you need to be careful not to fall into victimhood because we've all done it. That's one of the most dangerous places to fall into. You don't want to keep feeling sorry for yourself. What if you can't even leave your room because you're so depressed? I think when you're at that stage, you need to get help. When you're that bad, you need at least one person in your life that you can be fully vulnerable with and not hide your depression or anxiety or mental health problems. A family member, a friend, a therapist, and one person. That person can help you to lift you out of these dark places, and you can once you can get comfortable with one person, you can build some trust for them. You can then start gathering the strength to meet more people and build more trust with them. Because a lot of these things come down to not trusting people and yourself because of what you're going through. That's always helped me. And of course, go to your GP as well. That's obviously important. Get the help as soon as possible. Have you tried? I haven't tried. Well, not unless it's something I do already naturally, but I haven't heard of primal therapy. No. Um, for me, the best therapy ever is facing fear on a practical level. That's been the best healing I've ever done. So, facing the fear of meeting people, public speaking, talking to women, streams, going to the gym, all physical activities. They're the things that have been the best for me. Okay, guys, I think it's time. I said more than what I planned to say. It's been almost an hour and a half, and yeah, I hope that helps a lot of people. I'm going to talk about this more. Um, I'm going to talk about this more. It's going to be an ongoing thing. This is like a project. So I'm going to keep it going and help as many people as I can, and just share what's working for me. So thanks for taking part. I enjoyed it. Subscribe, comment, and make sure if you've got depression, that you try these things for yourself. It's all about you've got to try it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you'll find what does work. But it's all about facing depression. That's how you get rid of it. You don't get rid of it by running from it and letting it beat you. So sometimes it's contradictory. You have to let it beat you and you come back. You're welcome, Roxy. You're welcome to the channel, and I hope to see you on some of the next live streams. So I've put it all out there. This is the thing I've learned so far about getting out of depression, finding happiness. It's all there. So cheers, Ahmed. I'll speak to you guys soon. Yeah. All right. Enjoy the process. See you soon. Bye.